Okay, great. We're ready to go. So let's have a little shake. And shoulders as well. Rolling the shoulders and loosening the lower back. With the feet just one fist apart, just gonna circle the knees. With this one, the feet do roll on the ground. So it's quite nice to warm up the knees, and in the other direction. And then if you want a bit of balance, you can hold on to something or just sink for your stability. And we'll just circle the knee. I normally look on the floor about two meters in front of me, and it helps to just kind of stabilize things. If you're looking all over the place, it's much easier to be wobbly. But you have to feel inside. You have to feel the muscles relaxing, so you allow the body to settle, and that's what gives you the stability. If your muscles inside your leg are trying to hold on, that just kind of makes you a triangle, sort of that sort of shape, and you're very unstable. You want to be like a triangle, that shape, by softening and letting everything come down, and then you can find the stability more easily. The foot has to be nicely connected, the ankle relaxed, and then the hips have to be over the foot. Same as when we stand. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the whole foot to spread. And to do that, the muscles in the foot need to release. And when they release, you immediately feel the weight of the body oozing. That's a good word, isn't it? Oozing into the foot. You can feel it. It's kind of like the pressure of the weight of the body spreads and pushes the ball of the foot, the outside edge, and the heel onto the ground. Then we can lift up from there. Lift up the crown of the head. As we lift up the crown, it opens the chest, opens the back of the neck. And then, of course, we soften on the inside, change the quality of the holding, contraction to lift, the release to melt, and the awareness of how the body sits into itself and on the ground. Folding the hips. Using the legs to push the fingertips, scooping them up. Top of the in-breath. And at the same time, organizing the body, lifting up and releasing. Folding. Top of the in-breath. And as you lift up, don't just think about lifting the hands, but lift the chest, lift the back of the neck and the crown of the head and the fingertips, then release. Straight down, keep releasing until the thumbs touch, end of the out breath. And you'll have to go at your own speed. Because with this exercise, we work with the breath. Everybody needs to work with their own speed. And it may just take you a few circulations of the exercise to find your breathing speed. Maybe you move too slowly, or maybe you move too quickly, and you need to listen a little bit more just to work out what your natural breath speed is, and if you have to increase or decrease the movement of the exercise to fit with it. Remember, once we've stretched and contracted the muscles, we release them. And once we come to the bottom, before moving on, we just stop, pause for a moment, scan through the whole body and make sure there are no muscles that are still holding on. And it can often be the top of the buttocks and the lower back that's still held, or it can often be the shoulders that are still held. We try and put more focus there and help them soften and change. Once we've released fully, we're going to turn. And turning, remember, turning isn't pushing across. We want the leg we're moving on to change, which means soften, to receive the weight of the body and allow the weight of the body in. Now my weight's over the foot, I fold. Turn back 50-50. Try to really feel the exercise. So yes, there's things to do. You have to release by the time you get there, and you have to time it with the in-breath, and you have to use the legs and not collapse the knees, but it's not really about that. It's about feeling all these sensations in the body and having a real experience of what it feels like to be simple and standing without holding excess tension. It's not that there's no tension. If you had no tension in your body, you just flop and fall over. Just enough to keep us in the posture. Fold and turn and sink inside the leg. Just to remove excess tension and to really experience the stretch through the whole body, feet to fingertips. Feel the change of the release, what the body feels like as it lets go, and what the body feels like when it lands on the feet. The center's coming stable, the shoulders are releasing, and everything's just coming to a quiet, settled place. Get a sense of what that feels like, experience it. Now we've been doing this exercise for a while, you should try not to have any gaps. So as soon as you finish, everything comes to an end and you carry on. As soon as you reach the top, you don't linger there, you just touch the highest point and immediately release. It's like stretching an elastic band and release. Touching the lowest point, fold. Touching the highest point, release. Releasing to the lowest point, fold. Just standing in a resting posture. Feel on the inside that the base from the just below the navel downwards is like a big beach ball. The torso is like another beach ball balanced on top of that, and the head and shoulders like a third beach ball. And all those three beach balls are very delicately balanced on top of each other, organized, because the whole body is loose as can possibly be. You don't want to be holding and locking those beach balls to stay in place. You want just gravity to press them into each other. And as if a wind would blow through the room, the body would sway. Just experience what it feels like to let go of any unnecessary holding or tension, and just simply let the body rest on the earth upright. Without losing that feeling of connectedness, and without losing that feeling of stability and sunk feeling of settled quality, just bring the elbows up. Don't lift the shoulders if you can, just bring the elbows up and form a circle, cross hand circle. So the wrists cross at the height of the throat. You're not focusing on what the arms are doing. We're still feeling the stability of the whole body. The arms just float up and don't interfere with that. In fact, the weight of the arms help stabilize you. We want all the joints in the arms to be open, all the joints to fill that circle that goes around the arms, around the back, and round again. So now it's like the base, big ball, the upper body, and now we've got a big circle sitting on top of that. Everything relaxed and stable. And we'll do the archer pose. So around the core, we turn. It's the hips that turn, everything else follows. As I turn, I drop this arm, push that one out. With the arm still bent, I push the heel of the hand out to the side. Try not to have the finger drop, try to have the finger, index finger to the ceiling, thumb at 90 degrees, and push the flat of the hand out. Remember, you're not just pulling across, you're also relaxing and dropping the shoulders. So you've got that vertical release and you've got that horizontal stretch through the body too. So there's a big cross going on through the body of forces, cross of forces, forces downwards as the body releases, and a force across as you draw the bow. Back to the same posture with an awareness of the upright quality, with an awareness of the full circle, with an awareness of being settled. If there are any muscles you feel that are holding on, or you feel that your alignment is off, now is a good time to change, to try and refine that place of being settled. Refine that place of all the joints being open. Just remind yourself of what we're looking for. Nice, full, loose. If a wind would blow through the room, the body's going to sway. We turn the hips, position the hand, and push the heel of the hand away as we drop the shoulders, drop both shoulders. If you do this well, you don't have to hold the posture for very long. It's like yoga postures. If you do them well, you don't have to hold them for very long. You just have to go into them, be organized, go into them, experience the stretch and the condition of the body, and then release. Maybe go back into it again, but there's no benefit of holding the posture for too long. Upright, released, full circle. It's not about getting these things right, it's about experiencing them. So if you find your circle is small, it's not about that you've done it wrong, just feel what it feels like to let it expand. If you feel your legs tight, it's not that it's wrong, just feel the difference between that and seating the hip joints and letting your body in a little bit and get the experience of the sensation. So you remind yourself of what a good sensation, stable, upright feels like. Release out breath as you stretch. Coming back with the in-breath. Positioning, sinking and turning. Out-breath. And the last one on this side. Nice full circle, nice upright posture, nice settled posture. Release. And coming back and having a shake. With the feet parallel, just check they're parallel because that's 2 spans between the center of the toes, the center of the foot. 2 spans is parallel. Feet straight ahead, knees straight ahead. The arms up at the height of the throat, going out to the corners. Move across to the left foot and turn, dropping the arms. And then from the elbow, the hand swings up. All my weight is over the left foot. I'm facing the corner. Turn back, square. As I turn back, I lift the arms and release to the other side. turning and sinking. Turn back and release. Only two things happening really. I'm turning back square and lifting the arms, and I'm releasing and turning to the corner. Now my weight and my alignment is over the foot. I've got about 90% of the weight over this foot. As I turn back, I'm 50-50. And as I move across, I'm sinking 90% on this side facing the corner. I'm going to do it facing the curtain because then you can see more easily and follow my movements more easily. Square, that's when the hands lift. So by the time the hips come square, that's when I'm at the top with the hands and I release. Square, release. Square, release. Square, release. Square, release. Common mistakes on this one, common mistakes. When you turn, the knee moves. And you'll feel that if your knee moves and comes in when you move across, if your knee changes position, you'll feel your weight roll onto the inside edge. And we want to try and avoid that. And to avoid that, instead of the knee coming in and rolling the foot onto the inside edge, the knee stays in place and the turning is in the opening of the hip joint and the closing of the hip joint. The opening of the hip joint, not the rolling of the whole leg on the ankle. This is the thigh and the hips turning as a unit locked together, and it pulls the knee out of place, and the knee and the toe go in different directions. We want the knee and the toe always to be in the same direction because the knee is a hinge joint. Unlike a ball joint that can move in any direction, the knee should only really move forward and back. A little bit of lateral movement is okay, but mainly forward and back. So the hinge is the ball joint of the femur, which comes up like this. The pelvis is like that, and the pelvis moves around the ball joint rather than the whole ball joint moving in space. The ball joint is stable and the pelvis opens. And that's got a very particular feel to it, Tai Chi feel. And the way we work with it is by aiming to keep the knee still, aiming to drop your weight onto the knee. Keep the knee still. And it may take some concentration to find how not to bring the knee in, how to soften. You may find you can't turn as far as you want. You get halfway and the knee starts falling in. If that happens, then just move to that place halfway to the corner. Because it's better that you have some range of movement than you have a big range of movement, but it's completely out of alignment. It's not good to move out of alignment. It'll hurt your knee and it won't teach you the right thing to do for Tai Chi. So by softening, we allow the hip joint to open. The muscles that are holding are what stops the hip joint opening. So it's only when there's softening of the muscles that the hip joint can open. And it's enough just to work with one thing. So if you're focusing on being upright, it's enough to just work with that. If you're focusing on turning smoothly, it's enough just to work on that. If you're working with your knee not collapsing and opening the hips instead, it's enough just to work with one thing. This is a relatively complicated exercise, actually. It looks straightforward, but it's quite complicated. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to unmute everybody and just see if you've got any questions or there's anything about it you're finding difficult or don't understand, just for a minute to give you a chance to do that. I'm going to unmute everybody. We've still got a few minutes left of the class. I'm just going to unmute everybody. And if there is anything, feel free to ask. If not, we'll carry on with another exercise. We've got another 10, 15 minutes.
Can I just ask about when I'm turning to the right and I'm trying not to let my left knee go in, my right foot is actually coming off the ground a bit. It's tilting to the outside, you know, instead of being flat on the floor.
Okay, so have a look at my legs. Is this what's happening? It's turning that way. When you turn this way,
that's what it's doing. Yeah.
Okay. So when this hip moves this way, when this hip moves further away from the foot, the muscles in this leg are also holding. When the hip moves, it will pull on the foot. So the muscles in this leg also need to soften. Right? So this leg becomes like an elastic band too, that's being stretched further away from the foot. Right? So the problem is, if it's a problem, the problem is that this leg isn't changing. So when the hip changes, it moves the leg.
Right. So I need to think about my leg muscles rather than my foot.
Yeah, both legs need to relax.
Yeah, okay.
As you move, both legs need to relax, and that'll keep the foot soft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good question, that, because I think a lot of people find that in this exercise. I say it's a complicated exercise because it makes us see things about ourselves that we don't normally see. Okay, that's not often a nice thing, because you think it should be easy. You think it should be really easy to do this exercise. It looks easy. It's actually quite complicated and difficult.
No, I don't think it's easy.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So thank you.
Should we carry on with it for a couple of minutes?
Yeah. Actually, I should just check, because I love this exercise. I do feel comfortable with it, but I think both my knees are they're both sinking. They're both sinking, even when I'm actually on it.
Both knees relax. Both legs relax. When you move, both legs relax.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. That's fine.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Let's carry on for a couple of minutes with this one. I like to ask questions. I can't often do it when there's a big group, but it's nice when there's just a few of us to actually, have a chance to ask, because you want to make sure you're doing it the best you can, of course, and you want to make sure you're not doing it in a way that's going to harm the body, and you want to do it in a way that's going to build layers that your Tai Chi can just get more and more refined. What we want to try and do is, as we move, we're releasing the tension in both legs. So in a way, the same thing's happening here. When we do this exercise and stretch up, when we soften the body and both legs release, and the abdomen releases and the chest and shoulders release, the same thing's happening here. When I move, both legs are releasing. The abdomen and chest and shoulders are releasing, and the whole body's getting to a place where it's the same as in that other exercise. Everything is fully released. So I'm looking for the point at which I'm not holding any unnecessary tension. In this position, my shoulders have softened. I'm still upright. If a wind was to blow through the room, my body's loose, but it's stable. We have to find out the difference. Of course, the body's going to feel the pressure of its own weight, but that's not a contraction. That's just the body pressing into itself, which is very different from the muscles being switched on and active. We want the muscles to be in a passive phase to receive the weight of the body, but you're going to feel the buoyancy and fullness of that weight of the body on the ground. You're not going to feel held and tight and rigid, but you are going to feel some pressure. But you should also feel both legs melting. If you can, the lower back releasing. If you can, the chest softening, lifting, opening, and the shoulders dropping. All the changes we make in the standing posture. But this is a moving posture. We're moving from one side, full on this side, empty on this side, changing it. So now we're full, substantial on this, insubstantial on the other side. And the change between full and empty, or between substantial and insubstantial, is very much a smooth transition. Just like when we do the lifting and sinking exercise, we're looking for that point. When the thumb touches, everything is released. Here, we're looking for the point when we arrive fully facing the corner, the hand swings up as soon as the thumb touches the center of the chest, and the lower hand comes to the tail. As soon as we reach that point, we're fully released. Moving across, releasing, 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 fully released. So we're continuing to release as we move across to turn to face the corner. Good. Shake out the ankles. You see, if you can do these exercises, that gets you into the right mind state, you're not thinking about getting them right or wrong. You're feeling your body, you're feeling how you can soften and change. And it's got a very different quality than, oh God, my shoulders aren't moving, oh God, my lower back isn't, oh God, you know, that just brings the anxiety into it if you're still in your head doing these exercises. But if you can really feel it, and you can feel the fluidity and the way your body can kind of melt and change, that's really what we're looking for. So with the feet slightly open, they're definitely wider. This is definitely a wider stance. So it's about 3 spans, this one. The toes are 3 spans apart. The heels are 3 spans apart. And then I'm just going to open the toes to the corners. This is big ball that I'm sitting on. It's called a horse stance. Palms low. Space between the body and the elbows, not in close like this. Shoulders release and then the arms open. Drawing in, lifting. And releasing. Only go up and down as much as feels comfortable in the legs, because the legs can get quite tired doing this exercise. You may find just by restricting the movement just to 1 inch or 2, it's just much easier to not get into this position where the legs have to do too much work. And over time, the legs tone, get different, get used to it, can do a bit more. Or the other way of doing it is the length of time you do this exercise for is shorter, until you build up being used to it, being used to this position of letting the whole body weight through onto the ground. Smooth releasing. Smooth changes. At the end, everything finishes together. Smooth in-breath coming up. Top of the in-breath is the finish of the posture, up and out like a big letter X. Release. And settling. We'll just hold it there. Just scan through, making sure the thighs aren't holding too much tension, the buttocks, the lower back isn't holding tension. There's a quality of releasing and sinking, letting your weight to the knee, from the knee to the foot, finding that quality of stability. I'm walking in, shaking out. Finishing off, just rocking back and forth. Try and let the arms really be heavy. Not carrying the weight of the arms, letting the arms hang. Feel the body moving from the legs. Feel the weight being received to one foot, received to another foot, received onto one foot, received onto the other foot. Try and keep the body upright, head top upright, but the movement coming from below. And change sides. It's not a lot of forward and back movement in this. So I'm not really moving more than, say, 6 inches forward and backwards. My knee is only over the toes. I'm not really forward like this with my knee right over the toes. It's just over the beginning of the toes. That's my forward position. Sitting back, 90% sitting back. That's my back position. So I'm only moving forward that much. Just feeling the nice connection of sloshing water in a barrel. First in one foot, then in the other, then in one foot, then in the other. And you feel the foot get pushed onto the ground. You feel that connection in the foot. Body feels nice and loose. Body feels relaxed. And we'll just see what time we've got. I think that's probably a good half hour. Yeah. Good, I'm going to unmute us all. Can everyone hear me? Can I hear everybody else? I don't. Yeah, good. Good. Great.
It's brilliant.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you. Just what I needed.
Excellent. It's funny what in half an hour how you change, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great. It's really nice. But just in half an hour of just being with yourself and listening more closely and paying attention to how you carry yourself, because your whole energy system can just settle down and move the exercises forward.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Irritability.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Luke.
Hey.
See you Thursday. Bye.
Week, I've got one more.
Sorry,
Is
say
it
that again, Ross?
Thursday. Thursday, the last one.
Yeah.
That's one.
not this week, following week.
With two more, another 3 sessions.
There's a possibility I won't be able to do next Tuesday.
Okay.
So this Thursday for sure.
Mm.
Possibly not next Tuesday. There's a meeting I might have to go to, but then everybody will be welcome for the last one, which will be Thursday. I'm planning
Is that
not to do Zoom over August, but I'll leave all the recordings up if anybody wants to go over any of the recordings. And then in September, we'll carry on with Zoom again in September.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were finishing for the summer. I was so excited.
Oh, sorry, Janice.
All right.
I never teach over the summer. So
Yes, fair
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
I've been teaching probably almost 25 years. I
Need a
don't
break.
teach over the summer. It's me time.
Well, it's
Yeah,
the same here. I'm not working over the summer. I don't want to.
The
Right,
30th,
okay.
30th of July. Fantastic. Thanks.
Okay. So see you Thursday. Bye.
Thursday.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.